Today's article to share with everyone is: if you have a son, don't let him become these 4 types. Let's listen together. Dear son, today marks your 8th year in this world. When you made your wishes, you held onto my neck, and in your childish voice, you said, "I want to be a man like Dad. I want to protect Mom." My heart melted upon hearing those words, son. Sometimes, Mom selfishly wishes time could freeze at this moment. While you're still young and I'm not yet old, you stick to me, asking to be carried, to be held, and I can still occasionally indulge in being playful with you. But I know, deep down, you also yearn to grow up. You often ask me, Mom, what do you want me to become when I grow up? Well, Mom doesn't really know, but I can try to express it. So close your eyes and listen carefully, my son. Son, when you were still in my womb, I used to take you for walks in the park. One day we encountered 2 children playing soccer, one kicking the ball and the other defending. Initially they took turns playing, but as they continued, the younger brother started being stubborn. After letting his brother play a few times, he quietly told his brother, "Now it's your turn to defend." The younger brother pouted and refused. The elder brother glanced at me, then back at his brother, frowned, and I thought he was going to ask for me. But he didn't. He just turned around, wiped away his tears discreetly, and resumed defending the goal as if nothing had happened. Son, hearing this, do you recall the day when you wiped away your tears quietly? That day, your little sister held onto your Doraemon doll tightly, and Grandma asked if you could give it to your sister. You didn't answer immediately. You looked at me, then at Grandma, and finally nodded. I was surprised after all. It was your favorite toy. When I asked you later, you said, "Because Mom said sharing is what good kids do, and I want to be a good kid." You said this with tears down your face. Do you know? Your attempt to appear strong pains me. I didn't realize that constantly calling you good and making you understand responsibilities would make you so cautious. Mom hopes you can live authentically and freely without hurting yourself and others. Lately, Mom's been a bit worried about you, maybe because you've started elementary school. You seem particularly concerned about your grades. Every time grades are announced, as long as you're in the top 3, you strut around like a proud rooster. But if you fall out of the top 3, you deflate like a balloon with no life. Even in races, you insist on coming first. Mom knows you're a determined child. You want to prove yourself. But not everything needs to be a competition. Do you remember the balance bike race? You came 3rd, but Dad still treated you to McDonald's. Child, we rewarded you not for your rank, but for your effort. When you fell while turning, we thought you'd cry, but you didn't. You got up immediately and continued racing. Do you remember your friends coming to hug you? You weren't first, but you were their little hero. Son, you love reading the fairy tales, don't you? Mom loves them too. So recently, while you were at school, I watched a short film adaptation of Taming the Rabbit based on his fairy tales. The protagonist of the film is a boy named Pipilu. In his school, only good students qualify to become rabbits. Therefore, all the children must be disciplined, not move around randomly, and most importantly, obey the standard answers. Once, the teacher asked how to retrieve a ball from a deep hole. A child stood up and proposed pouring water to float the ball up. The teacher smiled and nodded, satisfied with the standard answer. At this point, Pipilu became puzzled and asked, "How deep is the hole?" "Very deep." "Then let Dad buy another one." The classmates burst into laughter, but the teacher got angry, criticizing him for being disruptive. Pipilu protested, "I wasn't. If it were a deep hole, wouldn't it be unsafe for us kids to retrieve the ball?" Reading this, I wondered, if you were Pipilu, what would you do? Would you accept the standardized answer to become a rabbit? Or would you, like Pipilu, insist on your own thoughts without compromising? After all, you've always been a child with wonderful ideas and whimsical thoughts. Every person is an individual. You must have your own personality and stick to your own opinions. If all children become rabbits, how would Mom find you? It's getting late, so let me tell you one more story. There was an old master who wanted to find a successor. He told his 2 disciples, "Go find the most perfect leaf. Whoever finds it will inherit my teachings." The eldest disciple returned first with a leaf that wasn't very beautiful, but he said, "I searched for a long time but couldn't find the perfect leaf, so I chose this one, which is still intact." The younger disciple had been fixated on finding the perfect leaf, but he returned empty-handed. He told the master, "There are many leaves in the forest, but I couldn't find a perfect one." Guess whom the master chose in the end? It was the eldest disciple. Do you know why? Because the younger disciple kept scrutinizing every leaf for flaws, ignoring the fact that there is no perfect leaf in the world. The elder disciple, on the other hand, understood and accepted the imperfections of the world. Son, many people and things are like this. Mom is good at handicrafts but can't play soccer. Dad is great at soccer but terrible at cooking. You excel at Lego but struggle with drawing. Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. We can certainly strive to improve, but when we can't achieve perfection temporarily, we shouldn't demand it excessively. We can't expect everything to be perfect. As long as we're true to ourselves, that's enough. Son, are you asleep? Perhaps what Mom said today is a bit profound, and there are things you still can't understand. That's okay. Life is a long journey, and one day you'll understand. Over the past 8 years, Mom also knows my shortcomings. Please accept me as this imperfect mom. After all, I'm just an 8-year-old mom too. Let's grow together slowly, okay? My dear sweet dreams, my child. Always love you, Mom. That's the end of this article. Thank you for listening. We will continue to bring you new articles, hoping you gain new insights every day.